Representative, thank you for the time this morning. This bill, Senate Bill 990, has a lot of people scratching their heads wondering why it is necessary to eliminate countywide voting on election day. What kind of arguments have you heard for this?
Well, some of the arguments that we've heard so far, the bill hasn't been heard in the elections committee, is that it's not safe, that there's voting inconsistency, and really and truly there is so far there isn't any evidence of this. What this is some people who are upset with some issues that have happened in elections in one city, Houston in particular, in Harris County, and they're basically trying to find a solution to problems that they don't know if they exist or not, it seems. And so they're just trying to say, let's just get rid of it. Let's just go to precinct voting like we used to. And it's a little strange. But we haven't heard it fully yet to hear all of the arguments, but it just is very targeted, it seems.
The House has a similar bill that has not advanced out of committee. Why hasn't the House bill moved?
That would really be a question for the chairman. I will say that we've dealt with an array of issues, from prosecuting people for ballot harvesting, which we don't have any evidence of. We even have where they're trying to get rid of election administrators in certain areas, or having the Secretary of State's office take over for an indefinite amount of time. We've had some very interesting elections laws that have been coming up, but we just haven't heard this one yet. And it could be quite possible they were just waiting for the Senate companion to come over.
Do you expect the Senate version to get any traction at all in the House Elections Committee?
I'm hoping that it doesn't. I know that everyone is trying to do what they can to make sure that this doesn't happen, because what's really important is people are used to it.
Let me ask you, who all is doing what they can? Are it Democrats or Republicans?
I know on our side, the Democrats are having talks with the chairman of elections, who's been very responsive. But at the end of the day, that's a huge concern for us, is Democrats making sure that we do not get rid of this. But the chairman of the elections committee in the House has been very responsive to us. And that's one of the reasons that we are just still in talks to try to see everything that we can do to make sure something like this hopefully will not get to the floor.
Jefferson County, which you represent, it has approved countywide voting. If this were to pass, let's say, and signed into law by the governor, what kind of impact do you think it would have as far as voting?
This would be devastating. You would have people who are used to going to one specific voting location, and then all of a sudden they would be told you can't vote here, and they would say, well, I've been voting here for over 10 years. And they would say, well, now with the law, you'd have to go all the way home, or if you were at a different location, it would cause people to not even know where to vote. It would be more confusion, especially in rural areas, for people who get off of work later, who didn't know this. It would put them in a position where they would possibly not be able to vote. So it would be very devastating for a lot of people, especially in Jefferson County.
Representative, to my knowledge, there's not a single case of fraud having to do with a countywide election center in the state of Texas. What do you think this is all about?
I think this is unfortunately a case for voter suppression. Without any evidence, we are just creating what I call hearsay laws that are not even admissible in a courtroom. But somehow we're making these the law that you have to live under, when you couldn't prosecute someone for the type of evidence that people are saying that they currently have, unfortunately.
Representative, we appreciate the time. We'll be watching to see what the House Elections Committee does.
As we all will.